Hello, I'm here. I'm just putting a little reel on Instagram. The family Chantel. How are you guys? I'm letting more people come into the room. And then I'll do a timestamp. Gotta let these children know what time it is. Gotta let these children know what time it is. I like that song. Been there, done that, worn that dress. Know the mother knows it best. Gotta let these children know what time it is. Gotta let these children know what time it is. Just call me Wah. Okay. I need to hire somebody just to run my social media. I don't have any money, but you know, there's that. Hello, welcome into the room, you guys. Come into the room. Dedria, Ramsterdam, Miss Terry, Lala, Buddha, Jasmine, aka BBBBBB, Sean Christina, Joseph Felton, hello, Sienna, Jen May. I'm well, thank you for asking, Jen May. Gotta let these children know what time it is. I'm wearing this little cape because it's heated and it gives some heat to my neck because my neck hurts. All right, this is a really good, I can't even tell you. Okay, let me finish my sentences. Hold on. This episode this week was a really good episode. Last week, I don't even really know what happened. Jenna Lynn, hi. Gotta let these children know what time it is. Tony has done it again. Vicky Vale, what's up, girl? How you doing? Will you post on your other channel? I loved this series. Will you post on your? Oh yeah, I will once I have an update. I don't have an update. I like to bite off more than I can chew. If you guys haven't noticed, I'll start uploading to that video, to that channel too. Once January 1st hits, I'll start to do some stuff, and then we'll see. Medical insurance kicks in, and we'll see what happens. All right, let's go. Start at 3 minutes in. Yeah, because I mean, the update is nothing's happening until, you know, I'm all healed and the medical insurance kicks in, and I went into a little depression, you know, all those fun things. Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Welcome to my recap of The Family Chantel. This is episode 11 and 12. I might be wrong, but it is the finale episode and the episode before the finale, the last 2 weeks. You know, I can't do weekly Family Chantel stuff. It just is too much for my poor little brain to handle. Yeah, no, Vicky Vela did not hear that, but let me just get through it. Okay, let me just get through it, and then I need you to say that again so we can talk about it afterwards. Okay, so yeah, it's 11 and 12. Great. They gave us a really good season this year. This was a good, solid season, you know, between winter and the jaw drama. I mean, River and Meghan wasn't that exciting, but it's a good season. All right. If you guys would like to drop a tip in the tip jar, you can do so down below. You see it scrolling across the screen. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and share on any social media platform that you deem fit. Okay. So in episode 11, if I forget anything, you can remind me. But the main thing that happened in episode 11 was that Junior, aka Pedro, was able to meet with his brothers. And so something happened in this segment that really warmed my heart. And I think it may not warm your heart if you were no, I don't know why it wouldn't, but it warmed my heart because Pedro said he was Black. And that might not be a significant thing for you, but you know how shocked I was when I went to live in New York City and I met all of these Black Dominicans who looked at me and told me that they weren't Black. And I was like, are you seeing what I'm seeing? They're like, yeah, no, I mean, we're not black, like we're Spanish. I'm sorry, what? Like, yes, due to rape, yes, maybe. But like, no, no, you are a black person. You are a person of strong African descent. Okay. So I don't know what this like weird black erasure is happening in your lives. So it's weird. But anyways, I learned a lot of history that happened to the Dominicans. And like, yes, it sucks that this happened to them. But at a certain point, I'm just like, okay, I could see your mother's generation not wanting to be black, but my generation, do you still want to say, listen, if you because the Dominicans use the N word rampantly. So I'm saying make a choice. You either use the N word and say you're black, or you say you're Spanish and you stop using the N word. Choose, make a choice. Hi, Lily, welcome. So anyways, I was really happy that he actually admitted that he was black. I was like, oh, didn't even know that really I was feeling some type of way about it until he said it. So anyways, he meets his brother and he was really shocked at the way they look because he's like, they're white. And now, I'm black. I was like, yay. He meets his brothers and he says that he meets Junior and he meets Jonathan. Jonathan is older than Junior. So it was interesting. Because usually in the States, the first son is named Junior. So he meets his brothers, they sit down, and he says that his brother Junior looks just like Nicole. Like if he just had a wig on, he would look just like Nicole. I personally didn't see it, maybe in the eyes, but I think Nicole looks a lot like Lydia, looks like her mother. But even the cousin Norika, I can't pronounce it, Norika, even that cousin was like, oh my God, Nicole looks a lot like the father. So Pedro gets some clarification from his brothers who are happy to meet him. The rest of his siblings were not available. And they tell him that there are 4 boys that are in their family and that their father was a loving father and he was always there for them. And there was a time when he was saying, yes, I'm out for work. I'm doing things for work. And he'd be gone for moments at a time. But for the most part, he was there the whole time. So Pedro explains like the family, like, in story about how the mother and the father met and how it wasn't until I don't know if it was after Pedro was born that he finally admitted to Lydia that he had a whole family. And I guess Lydia, was like, well, she just basically explained the whole thing. So then Junior, who is his brother, I'm going to call Junior, I'm going to call Pedro, ends up telling him that he found out when he was 10 years old about the possible other family because my dog is loose. I hear her. Because he found a letter. Hi, Charlie. Hi, Charles. Oh my God, you smell like disgusting. Go, call her. Call her, Dad. There she goes. She's gone. Okay, let me close the door. Oh my God. Did I show you guys all of my underwear? Sorry. So anyways, he found a letter from Pedro's mother stating, hey, I have your kids here. And he like presented it to his mother. And I don't know if the mother like ripped it up or something. I'm not sure exactly what happened afterwards. But that was how Junior found out that his father had another family. They were actually really excited to meet Nicole because Nicole is the only girl. So they've never had a sister. And they're kind of sad that Nicole wasn't interested in meeting them. And Pedro explained that, she was like, what's done is done. And I'm okay with my life the way it is. And so they just had a really good conversation, like a really good adult conversation where Pedro was allowed to talk about his experience and the guys were able to talk about their experience and the fact that they're happy to have a relationship with Pedro and that they are absolutely willing to give Pedro the dad's number. Now, they can't vouch about whether the father will respond, but they'll absolutely give the number. And it was just so good. I was so happy. Like, I was crying because I was like, you know what? I think that this is really responsible because, people can be petty, but I think at the end of the day, they recognize that the father isn't the sum of his mistakes. And not saying Pedro was a mistake, but I'm saying the fact that he like dipped out on his wife, and all kinds of stuff like that. Whatever else happened in episode 11, I cannot tell you what happened. So if you guys want to respond and let me know if I missed something, let me know. Okay, let's see. I don't know what you guys are saying. So now we move on to episode 12. This is where the plot thickens, girl. And this is where the plot is good. Actually, you know what? This is still in episode 11. Okay. So Pedro is so happy to hear that his mother actually reached out, because the last information that he got from his mother is that he didn't really care and that she didn't really care. And that she had already moved on. She had her 2 children because she didn't want to have 2 different baby daddies. So she knew he had a wife, but she wanted to have her 2 kids and move on with her life. So to find out that Pedro's mother actually made an attempt to allow Pedro Sr. to see his kids and actually asked for him to come around really made Pedro's heart sink, because that means that she was not telling the truth prior to, because Pedro is starting to feel like he was a mistake. And that, now that he's asking questions, his mother doesn't want to answer. So maybe she was just embarrassed. So he's like, I'm so excited to talk to my mother about this. So he goes to his mother's house and he tells her, you know what? I talked to my brothers yesterday and it was a really good thing. And, do you remember writing a letter? And she's like, no, I didn't write a letter. And he's like, well, you did, because Pedro Jr. found it. And she's like, I did not write that man a letter. Okay. The last thing that I heard from that man was in 2010. He gave me 5,000 pesos and that's it. I didn't reach out to him. Like, it was almost like she's like, I'm not begging anybody to stay. I'm not begging anybody to do anything. And so then he's like, what? And she's like, no, I didn't do that. He stopped coming around and I just let it go. I let it go. I did not write that man a letter. I didn't do any of that. And the way she says it is so crazy. So that got me thinking, like, man, does he have more than one baby mama? I mean, I'm saying, does he have more than one extracurricular, like, family? Is Pedro going to find out there's another family somewhere? Like, or did Lydia write the letter and now doesn't want to cop to the fact that at some point she was desperate, or, whatever. But I'm like, why would she lie? That's the question, is why would she lie? So then he goes and he talks to Chantel about it. And Chantel is less than supportive. So I don't know if I missed something from episode 11, but where we pick up in episode 12 is this is after Pedro has confronted Lydia about the letter and Lydia completely denies it. And so then he meets with Chantel and Chantel tries to remind him how his mother was complicit in this terrible situation. And so Pedro gets upset with Chantel because she continually wants to remind him of how his family isn't great and how they're not as good as they think they are. So it's obvious to me that Pedro is looking for a way to give his mother an out. Like, Pedro is looking for a way to forgive his mother for her coldness in this situation and how she purposely and not really thinking about the consequences, put Pedro in a situation to where he grew up feeling very bad that his mother was on the struggle bus all of their lives. Like, he is super, super, like, traumatized by the fact that sometimes they didn't have food. And it's like Lydia won't acknowledge that he was traumatized by it. It's so interesting to me because this happens in my family too, right? Trauma affects people differently. Trauma affects kids differently, especially the eldest, because for some reason, when you're an oldest child, you tend to be more aware of what your parents are going through and the things that are happening around you. And that tends to shape who you are. And so, of course, Nicole and Pedro are going to have different experiences because Pedro actively remembers being told to go into the room and be quiet or not come out when his father is on the other side of the door doing God knows what with the mother. And so to me, that is a really weird like situation that Lydia would even have Pedro involved with. It's so weird that that Chantel literally cannot get over it. Like Chantel is so sheltered and only sees life in one way that she cannot get over the fact that Lydia didn't force the father to go into the room or actually put the kids away. And that behavior makes Pedro feel like he was unwanted. And Lydia's behavior makes Pedro feel like he was a mistake. And then on top of that, Chantel can't even let the man try to figure out a way to love his mother again. Can't even let this person figure out a way to forgive his mother because she constantly needs to remind him that his mother is at fault. And I'm like, Chantel, he already knows his mother's at fault, but that is literally his only parent. And it's really hard to be mad at your only parent because that is your only parent. Like, it is crazy to me that she can't understand that. And it's like, it's so interesting as well that everybody, even with all the technology and all the Googling that we have in the world, that there are some people who will just, no matter if they're actually in the medical field, there are some people who just are not emotionally intelligent enough to truly empathize and understand where someone's coming from. Because here's my truth. Here's my deal. What purpose does it serve for Pedro to harbor anger towards his mother? What purpose does it serve? What benefit is that to him? There's none. There's no benefit to him to be mad at his mother. Like, why does she need to continuously remind him that his mother, these are the mistakes your mother made though? That's his only parent. So it's crazy. So let's sidetrack and let's just talk about River and Meghan for a second. Meghan is still bothered by the fact that River said that she didn't show up. So she does show up and they have a conversation in the studio. And listen, if listening to the raw footage of River sing rap versus what the producer fixes, I'm like, why can't I be a superstar? Not to say that River is a superstar, but I'm like, if you can't even sing rap, what is your star power? What is it about is it your rhymes? Like, I'm real confused. What is River doing? I mean, I know he's not popular and he's not like blowing up or whatever, and that his parents super support him, but like listening to the raw sound of his voice, I was like, exactly what talent are we supposed to be seeing here? Because I'm very confused. But anyway, she comes to the studio and listens to the song and realizes that it's about her and feels some kind of way. She feels like, oh shoot, this is a lot further along. He's a lot more in love with me than I thought because he writes some song about a Kentucky girl. And so she then tells him that it bothers him that he feels some kind of way about her not showing up. And he immediately apologizes for it. But she says, I'm starting to realize that you want our relationship to go further than what it is. And I cannot do that with you right now. And I said, exactly. Like, I think it's really intelligent and smart of Meghan as a mother to not to say that River couldn't be a good stepfather or a good, like, I don't know, boyfriend to her as with the kid. But what truly does River know about being with a woman who has a kid? What kind of support can he truly give her? He's 23. And I'm not saying that he's a kid. I'm just saying that he has a very limited life experience. And maybe she's like, River is not somebody who I am comfortable with giving everything all into. He does not have a steady career. He's still in school. He still lives with his parents. Like, it's cool for us to get to know each other and talk and have a good time. But like, as far as like me introducing him to my son, which I don't know if she did or not, she might have. But like, she's like, I'm taking time away from my son to be with you right now. And that's already a big deal. Like, for you to think that our relationship needs to move forward with anything, like, I don't necessarily know that I would be with somebody, that much younger than me, who doesn't have much life experience, and then expect him to, like, step in and be my boyfriend when I'm trying to raise a child. Like, what does he know about that? So, anyways. So let's go back. So anyways, they end up breaking up, right? And then he's heartbroken about it. He talks to his dad, and his dad is like, yeah, son, you don't need to be with somebody like that, move on to the next. And so then that's it, right? So they broke up. Great. Okay. Lydia also tells Pedro that she never loved the father, which I feel like is a lie. I feel like she loved that man. And then she ends up saying that I don't know if she ended up saying that Pedro was a mistake, but she ended up saying, like, basically, I didn't love him and you were mistaken. That's not true. That's not the reality of the situation. So the next scene we have is Chantel, Pedro, and Karen and Winter in the hotel on the premises, and they're having a conversation in which Chantel tries to apologize to Pedro for the way she's handling the situation. That she recognizes that she's not handling the situation correctly, and she's not being supportive of him in the way she needs to. But she then still reiterates, but she just wants him to realize and to remember that his mother isn't perfect. And I'm like, that is besides the point, Chantel. That is beside the point. And so Pedro says that he doesn't believe that Chantel has the type of talent to put herself in his position. And then all of a sudden, Nicole shows up. And Nicole shows up and says, now listen, I might have written this down wrong, but I'm just going in the order that I wrote it. All of a sudden she's like, hi bitches. And everyone's just like, what? And Pedro's like, what are you doing here? What do you want? And she's like, I just came to say that Pedro slept with Wahima. That's it. And she walks away. And no one believes her. It is the wackest shock moment of my entire life. Like, Chantel doesn't even get up. She's like, I don't believe that. And Pedro's like, that's not true. Like, it is so crazy that is the lie she chooses to tell, and that it gets no reaction from anyone. And so Pedro ends up, like, getting so angry at Chantel and pointing at her and being like, I was a mistake. You don't understand what it feels like to be told that you are a mistake. She never meant to have me. I was a mistake. And Chantel still is like, no, you're not a mistake. I'm like, does Chantel not have any emotions? It's so bizarre to me that her reaction isn't to be like, oh my God, baby, I'm so sorry. You're not a mistake. She's like, that's not true. And she's still sitting down. It's Karen is the one who gets up and doesn't even say anything. She just goes in to hug Pedro. And she forces Pedro to hug her back. And Pedro's like, I don't even like Karen. I don't even want to be in 12-foot distance of her. But in that moment, Karen was there and I needed to hug somebody, and she was there to hug me. And Pedro gives her the strongest hug ever. And then Chantel gets up and she's crying. She's got like tears and she's like touching him and she's like, oh baby, oh baby. And I'm like, Chantel, when this man is looking you dead in his eyes and crying and you're unable to react, and I know that happens to people. I know there's some people who, when other people around them show emotion, they shut down because they don't know what to do. But I'm like, it's weird when that's your partner and you're unable to show emotion. It's the same thing she did when he started crying a couple seasons ago about the fact that she didn't want to have kids with him. And how she was just like, I didn't say that. And she doesn't go up to him and hug him. She just kind of like gets weird and walks away. And it's just like, it is so interesting that she doesn't have the like emotional intelligence to be able to like read a situation and know what to do. Like she just shuts down, or she just gets awkward, or she can't like, and that's it. And she's not the only person in the world. It's just weird to see it on TV. So then Lydia shows up. I don't know why Lydia and Nicole had separate entrances, but she did. And so Lydia shows up. Let's see, which is a lie. Chantel's family over tries to say that Karen made Winter to throw water. Oh, so then Lydia shows up and accuses Pedro of choosing their family Chantel, over her and Nicole. And then she like gets ready to fight because Winter picks up a water goblet to drink water, and she claims that she saw Karen signal to Winter to get up and throw water on Lydia. And I'm like, wow, this is almost as bad as people thinking that Pedro started the fight between River and Pedro. Like, we all know that the family Chantel started that fight, and that they egged him on, and they kept saying the things that they kept saying, and then River tried to take it to the next level and got beat up. So like, either way it goes, it wasn't Pedro's fault. You pushed him to that place. So Lydia says that she doesn't want to talk about anything in front of the strangers. She calls the family Chantel strangers. The whole time, the only person who understands what Lydia is saying is Chantel and Pedro. And so Karen and Winter are just kind of like, they don't even know what's going on. They just know that she's upset. She's like, I don't want to talk about my business in front of strangers. I don't want to talk about with you. Those people are clearly your family. And then she tells him, like, they're your enemies. They're not even your family. And that Chantel doesn't even respect you. She doesn't respect you as a man because of the things that her mother is saying. Lydia says to Chantel, do you love him? And Chantel says, yes, in Spanish. Like, so Chantel's following the conversation, and she responds back to Lydia in full Spanish. And then she says the family loves him. Chantel says my whole entire family loves him. And Lydia says that she doesn't consider Chantel family. She considers Chantel a stranger because Chantel doesn't do anything to interact with Lydia. Chantel doesn't even write her a letter. And Chantel ends up saying that the reason why she doesn't is because Pedro doesn't want her interacting, so that there isn't any drama between the two of them. And I'm just like, I'm sorry. Did you want her to like write a letter and like put some stamps on it and send it to the DR? And what? So you don't consider Chantel his wife? They've been married for like 5 years now. For 5 years now. They've been married for a damn long time. It was interesting. She says she's trying to give them, and then Lydia says that Karen is making, I just like the whole, like, she's giving her signs to pick up the water. I just didn't understand that whole thing. Winter then Pedro questions Winter and is like, Winter, did you pick up the water to pick up the goblet to throw water? And I said, Pedro, as long as you've known Winter, does that seem like anything in her characteristics to get up and throw water on anybody? Winter? Of all of them? Winter. Did you think Winter was gonna throw water? No, we like, why? No. Like absolutely not. They were absolutely not. So then Lydia leaves because she's like ready to defend herself and like ready to whatever. I don't know, girl. Fight at what? I don't know how old she is. Like, what is she getting ready to do? Nicole comes back to defend her mother. So she picks up a glass and throws it on the ground. And Pedro is like, okay, now it's gone too far. They call the police. And I'm like, damn, Pedro called the police on his own sister? That's crazy. And she's like, I'm here to defend my mother, and like, you guys are this and you guys are that. Meanwhile, she has no shoes on and she's walking down the street. Absolute basura, okay? Absolute trash. Karen is literally not saying anything because all this is happening. And you know, when things happen, those two shut down. And Winter's like, Pedro, I would never do that. Like, it's just like it's a cluster F of so many things happening at one time. And all of it is crazy. All of it is crazy. From hello, beaches, back to Pedro's not my family. I don't care about him anymore. How are you guys going to get money if you don't have Pedro? Those are the questions that I have. Next scene we have is with Nicole and Alejandro, and I completely didn't watch it. I don't care. She basically tells Alejandro about the fight, I think, and then asks him if he's going to marry her, and he says, of course. And I'm like, y'all are not getting married. Y'all are not getting married. No. No. And I guess she feels like Pedro she doesn't have a brother anymore. And I'm like, over what? Because he tried to fight Alejandro? I just can't imagine a scenario in which I'm like, oh, my brother is not my brother. I don't know. These people are crazy. These people are crazy. Anyways, what are you guys saying? Now, after I'm done with all of that, somebody said that this whole entire thing was fake, and that it's now the fight was fake, the drama's fake, and I'm like, you guys, this is reality TV. Of course it's fake. You just have to sit back and enjoy it. Now, it's crazy to me that Lydia and Nicole agreed to be the villains. That's what's crazy to me. I wouldn't agree to be the villain. So I don't understand people who agree to be the villain of any fake scenario. But reality TV is absolutely fake. So there's that. I didn't know. You guys are the ones that are telling me right now. I saw Vicky Vale said it first, that she heard, before I even started telling the story, Vicky Vale was like, I heard this whole thing is fake. And I'm like, girl, let me just tell the story. And then while I'm talking, I see you guys on the right talking about it's fake. And I'm like, dang, let me tell the story. Y'all don't even want me to tell the story. Can I tell the story? Can I recap the recap? Can I recap the show? Can I recap the show? Please? Dang, y'all be in here just ready to throw everything. Like, I heard. And I'm like, okay. Y'all know that I like to watch the show for what it is. Okay? I don't be on here looking for people's drama and whatnot. But let me tell you, I go, if y'all don't follow Winter on Instagram, I do not. But Winter looks great. She took some like modeling photos, or maybe they're not modeling photos, girl, but she looks real good. Her last two posts, go follow her. She looks great. She looks, I mean, her hair is on point. Like, it looks great. It's fake. The recap must stop. No, Lily, I will tell the tale. Jen May says, I have lived it, and you can't fake those emotions like that. I mean, the truth is that if it's fake, I'm going to go on ahead and need Pedro to get an Oscar. Because when he's like, I was a mistake. You can't tell me that wasn't prime acting. You cannot tell me that wasn't prime acting. You know? You have the actors in this who can act, and then you have Chantel. So, listen. Quasi says, many who have no money get people over. Danielle comes to mind. I heard. Yeah, they got busted. Breaking news. It happens. I stan Winter. Love her look. I stan Winter all day, every day. Okay? Well, why do Nicole and the mom continue to say Pedro's marriage is terrible? I don't even know. I've never seen this name before. It's fake, but we willfully suspended belief for the drama. Exactly. Someone pointed out a picture from Pedro's sister-in-law's Instagram was from 2014. It has all three brothers and Nicole in it, smiling big. I'm mad because I was crying for Pedro in both episodes. Girl, cry your tears. Cry your tears. It's fine. Cry your tears. I know, I know, I know. I know. There's always some truth in the fakeness. That last scene with Nicole is the best I've ever seen her look. She's annoying in character, though. Yeah, she did look good in that last scene where she was talking to Alejandro. Pedro was damn upset. Okay? Because their jealousy, they just don't like that. I don't know what that means. Yes, on Pedro getting an Oscar and Karen a supporting cast award. Yeah. Yeah, they didn't know what was going on. I have a pain here and I don't like it. It feels like there's a crick in my neck and I just need to crack it, but I don't know how to crack it. It doesn't crack. Anyways, the acting started when Nicole came in. Vanessa says, I don't care if it's fake or not. Neither do I, girl. This was great. I mean, think about all the spinoffs. Okay. Annie and David could never. I mean, they might, but they could never. Okay. Who else has a spinoff of this show? Lauren and Alexi, they are gonna have a spinoff. The Family Chantel is the best spinoff, fake or no. It is literally the best. And it is because of the way the Family Chantel behaves. I mean, the whole entire show is called The Family Chantel. Like if y'all aren't convinced that this is not quality television, I don't know, a quality trash TV relationship television, I don't know what to tell you. And also they're like, they just keep saying like Pedro and Chantel have a shitty marriage. I'm like, they've been married for 5 years. They've been married for, I mean, they're one of the successful 90 Day Fiance couples. Period. Pedro lost his virginity, Chantel. That's his boo. That's his pinky. Okay? Chantel's gonna do whatever she needs to do to stay in a relationship with him. Chantel shouldn't. Oh yeah, I hated that too when she's like, "I hear you call me a prostitute," and she's like, "I didn't say you were a prostitute. I said I've never seen." I'm like, "No, Chantel, you did. Shut up. No, stop lying. Catch this fade, Chantel. Like if you're gonna say it, be ready to fight." And that's the thing that annoys me. Karen and her hats. I feel like that was her carry on. Like that was she just like she didn't even pack them. They sat on her lap. I think Nicole looks great in jeans and a ruffle dress. But she lost points for no shoes. I mean, she lost all the points for no shoes. I'm like, where did her shoes go? Where did her shoes go? Okay. What are you guys saying? Lydia has never been married. I think Nicole looks great in yeah. So that Pedro wins the tiny violin. I think it's crazy how Nicole was proud she threw the bottle on the floor, acting like all tough. Yeah. 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 She was like, I threw the bottle in la pizza, but like, girl, if it's real. Okay, Vicky. Okay. Where's Royal? He's not. He decided not to be in this season. I don't think he's ever coming back. But he is a new papa. Angelique or Angelette. She had a baby. I hope he stops sending them money unless the storyline is fake. Nicole came to fight in the tight, low cut, short dress because she knows that Chantel's not going to fight her. They're just going to be throwing things at each other, and then they're going to have people like. Could you imagine? Don't touch me. Don't touch me. If it's real, then Lydia and Nicole are despicable. Don't they realize that Chantel and Pedro are the reason they can live good in the DR? Listen, I feel the same way. Now Pedro doesn't have to send them money. Exactly. Reed Kicker. If you don't take anything too seriously, this show is hilarious. I actually find Karen hilarious and endearing. She's a perfect character TLC struggle. Yeah, she really is. Like, and I love the way she's not being like, I mean, harvesting the American dollar made me so mad at her because I felt like she was being xenophobic. But then like now when she's like, hi, my e-host, I'm like, it is endearing. It really is endearing. It really is. I hope Chantel and Pedro get a raise so they can move into a house. Yeah, I always think the same thing too, because I'm like, I hear land is real cheap in Atlanta, or at least in Texas. But I could is Atlanta? No, Georgia, sorry. At least in Georgia or in the South in general. So I'm like, why haven't they bought a house yet? But maybe they were putting Chantel through school and he maybe, he's spending his money on other things and they just didn't want to save the money to buy a house. But they have their own show, right? So they at some point need to upgrade. Nisi G, I'm almost out of here, but I'm glad you made it. I'm glad you made it. Okay, Lydia doesn't want Pedro to get along with them. That's crazy. Nah, they should never play with cheating. It all went wrong when Chantel started questioning the gifts. Nicole is jealous because Chantel is pretty. I don't think Nicole is ugly. So I don't know. I don't think that's true. Well, deep down, she loves her children. Unfortunately, some parents get overly involved. And when you see how other parents literally don't care, it's endearing. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, Winter looks the best ever. She's so beautiful. I agree. Okay. That's it, you guys. I'm going to let you guys go. I'll let you guys have your evening. Thank you so much for joining me. And I hope you guys have a fantastic week and I hope you have a happy holiday. I'm going to be reviewing Love and Lockup. I think it starts like the second week of January. So we'll be doing that. Is there any other shows? When is Married at First Sight coming back? I have to look into that and see. I like to skip a season of Married at First Sight because y'all know that these Married at First Sight seasons begin on my nerves. Good night, you guys. And I hope that you guys I'll see you next week. Please don't forget to check out my 90 Day Fiance video and support your girl by giving this video a thumbs up. If you have an opportunity to watch the commercials or watch the ads, watch them fully, click on them, engage, do what you got to do. I'm trying to get myself back into the algorithm. But it was lovely hanging out with you guys this evening for a couple of minutes. Buenas noches. Thank you, the creative cutie. Good night, Brazzle Dazzle. Oh, Brazzle Dazzle, you didn't say anything all shift. You didn't say anything all episode. Thanks, Vicky Vale. Thanks, Tony. Tony has done it again. Mrs. Mahogany, thank you so much. Have a good night, you guys. And remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye.